Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Let's take another look here at Solana, see what's going on. I've been a nice little response here this morning. In fact, we're establishing a microstructure shift, basically just kind of closing above the local high, and then also testing this local resistance at 146. A decent chance if we close above that, we'll see the price continue to go up. Keep in mind there's probably likely this being a fundamental catalyst causing the price action to continue higher or faster than majority of the market. We can see 6% for Solana. Most other coins are zeroed out effectively. Again, that probably is likely because of the fact that there is a CME. There's speculation, this may be official if somebody already knows, but looks like CME Futures are planning to launch Solana Futures in March. So that's probably a pretty big deal, and that's leading to this tentative pump. Keep in mind, the price continues to push up towards that date. It'll probably be a buy the rumor, sell the news situation, so make sure you secure some profits leading into that event if we continue higher. Just some foresight there for you. It's never exact, but I'll have to update our field levels here. I'll post a playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. That will be available for you there. But if you notice here, this short-term descending trend is essentially broken. So that's usually a good sign for longs. But I want to emphasize caution because we're coming up to a weekend, folks. Bitcoin has notoriously sold off every weekend this entire year. And the whole entire year hasn't been red, by the way. It's only last month, roughly, right? So if you think about it, even in a good market, when the price was still going kind of up in that 100,000 plus range, we saw Bitcoin still correct itself over the weekend. Friday green, Saturday, Sunday red. It's happened like 7 or 8 out of 8 times so far this year. So just be mindful of that leading into this weekend. You got a long position open right now. Move your stop loss higher so you secure profits in case the price rips back on us. There's a decent chance it will, just based on how the market's been behaving, but at this point we can see that smaller structure shift, so to speak, and that's a very good sign. So in that case, let's go ahead and talk about liquidation first, kind of go from there. Please hit the like button too before we get started, folks. Deeply appreciate that. Remember to do that every single time you watch. Up here though, if we take a look at local liquidation, there's not much left. Honestly, the local area, that 142 to 145, we talked about this yesterday, is that local area that got hit pretty hard. We've got late shorts here at 150, but there's nothing super substantial. We look at the macro here, we can see for the most part, majority of all the previous liquidation has been swept. And only thing left here is just the more recent shorts at 148 to 150. So 150 is probably the better case scenario here on this short-term rally. But keep in mind, from a macro perspective, obviously 180 is still that pretty big shelf. We're a long ways away from that. I'm not proposing we see 180 anytime soon, but it could happen again with this, the speculative market that we're in. Fundamental catalysts happen, and they do push prices in different directions. We can take a look here and see. Liquidation delta is tapering off, so less shorts in the market as they get liquidated, of course, but in general, there's still more people wanting to short this coin than take longs on it. With good reason, I totally understand. We're still in a very significant macro descending trend. Okay, you got to recognize that we're not by any stretch back on track. We're literally going to need to be 180, 190 plus to be like feeling good about it. Okay. Between now and then, there's just too many reasons why the price will probably go lower, or at least go sideways and maybe up a little bit, based on the simple fact that we have this kind of local structure shift. What I mean by that, if we take a look at open interest, is a good area of understanding, kind of letting you know where everyone's positioned right now. We can see previous longs are back in the green right now. That reinforces support at 142. And then we can see 135 to 130, even as low as 127. These are basically late longs here, adding to their position as the price goes lower. I was in this 136 range myself, right? So again, dollar cost average in this 130 range just makes perfect sense. There's potential if we do see the low 110 mark, that would be a good consideration as well. But between now and then, I think that the odds of that happening is lower as we continue to maintain and break this local range. Okay, so that break of structure kind of implies we're seeing that continuation potential. Let's take a look at the daily and see what's going on. Just kind of reaffirm this for you folks, just in case you kind of get your blinders on. People have a tendency of seeing what they want to see, or they have a nice green day and they forget how much this coin has damaged them. Like down 90%, you've seen the memes, right? Down 95%, and we have a 5% day and everyone's just celebrating. That's kind of where we're at right now. So just know Solana's not looking good still, okay? I want to kind of reiterate that. We're still under all moving averages that are relevant. The 200, there's a lot of confluence at 180, 185. That's where the 200-day SMA is hanging out. the 20-day SMA is coming down, the 50 is above it. That generally implies that we're under resistance. We're under the trend. That's basically it. Remember, SMAs are trends. They're not support and resistance levels, even though I commonly refer to them as such. They're more so just kind of letting you know that the trend is down. We got to respect the trend. Okay, so you don't just blindly take longs into it. If you're taking a long, that's okay. Don't get me wrong. You just don't want to take a long to the so-called moon, as most other people would say, right? You don't want to take a long to $300. It'll take a while to get there probably, but the likelihood of that is very low considering how much profit is being taken in the market right now. Either way you look at it, we've broken this 30 barrier on the lower range, kind of implying that if you have a short position open, you should have secured profits by now. It doesn't mean you just instantly open a long. Newer traders need to understand this. If you're newer, hear me out here. Make sure you recognize that when somebody says to close a short position, it doesn't mean you instantly open a long. Just because the market is either going up or down at any given time doesn't mean you have to. 95% of trading is finding good opportunities, which I'm still bad at it, if you will. I generally work within ranges and it works for me. But you'll never find the best entry, but the more patient you are, the more you can confirm that the trend is going the direction you're heading, the more likely you are to find success. Right now, the overall trend is down based on liquidation and the trend line here. So does a long really make sense? Think about it. It doesn't. It really doesn't. There's no other way around it. 4-hour time frame, let's go ahead and double check and confirm and see that we are above the 20-day SMA. Yes, this is a good constellation letting us know that we've shifted gears on the smaller time frames. Totally, I get it, I see it. MACD converged. We also have a break above 50 on the RSI. These are all the signs I look for to take a long position tentatively, okay? And I like to emphasize the word tentative because the macro is still bearish. The 4-hour and the hourly time frame can still be bullish, right? That's just that transition. Generally speaking, you're going to find less success trading in transitions like this, but the truth is, as long as you're respectful of the overall trend, you're probably going to be okay. What I mean by that is just say hypothetically you take a long right now, as long as you don't take it to the stinking moon up here, right? You're going to be in a good shape because you're going to probably want to secure profits here, here, or here before we hit our macro resistance at roughly 160, okay? So again, a lot of little things to kind of be mindful of. It's not perfect, never is, but you can minimize your loss, maximize your gains by kind of going with that strategy. So the 4-hour time frame is technically shifting bullish. We've got a second stochastic swing to the upside, MACD convergence. There's a lot of reasons here as to why we're in pretty good shape. However, you got to recognize that there may not be a ton of profit on the table here. If we end up securing, Bitcoin ends up securing profit over the week and pulls back, like we've seen 7, 8 out of 8 times this year, then the odds of Solana going too high moving forward here is low. Therefore, you probably want to consider securing profits in the 153 or 160 range. Mainly because we got some confluence here with fib level at the halfway mark, with obviously that 50-day SMA there. But furthermore, too, we've got that previous support turned resistance here at 160. That's also another fib level, too. So again, use fib levels as confirming factors. Don't use them as the end-all be-all. Some folks put way too much emphasis on this and Elliott wave, and it's really ridiculous because they start convincing themselves that these are actually legitimate areas. And there's nothing wrong with it. I use fib levels all the time. But if these fib levels are just kind of floating out there and there's nothing else to back it up, it doesn't make a ton of sense. Okay? So again, just like to throw it out there so you all kind of understand a little bit more about what goes through my head when I trade. And again, while I'm not perfect, I do have a tendency of having a higher success rate just based on waiting for confirmation. Now, this is a playout chart from yesterday based on the local point of control. You can see here, had the price action rejected out, surpassed this level, we would have seen a pivot or a bounce off that point of control. That's where the volume is accumulated the most. That obviously never occurred. The price blasted straight through it with a fundamental catalyst and Bitcoin bouncing off its key level support after sweeping its CME gap and majority liquidation. So if you're not familiar with that, be sure to check it out. Bitcoin did it swept its CME gap, and then of course there's still some liquidation left down to the downside. So I'm urging my community to be cautious with longs right now, because there's still a chance we can continue to pull back. We're still in a macro bearish scenario, so folks. So please understand that. Again, you don't want to attach yourself to a bearish mindset because this short-term rally can be good, but you got to be mindful of the fact that you have to secure profits on trades right now. If you don't, you can really, really be in a world of hurt. Again, it's just really frustrating to see you leaving money on the table. So if you're in the profit right now, you took a long at 130, against logical advice on a leveraged position, adjust your stop loss higher. Make sure you walk away in the green. Don't be a fool and just to leave it on the table there. Okay. All right. Anyways, that's what we got. Check out our playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. Make sure you reference Bitunix too, folks. awesome deposit reward bonus between now and the 14th of March. And we'll look forward to seeing you all in tomorrow's video. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Deeply appreciate your time. We'll see you soon. Take care.